Hello, everybody. Take my reading glasses off. I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show. It is raining outside. It is gray. Tropical Storm Elsa is supposedly on a path between us and Cary, North Carolina. So we are getting a bunch of rain. Thankfully, doesn't seem to be a lot of wind at this point, which is great because wind takes out the power. But you know, some trees might start coming down at some point. So we're watching old 16mm films. That last film was a Castle film release of a Hopalong Cassidy movie, serial, TV show. I'm not quite sure. Castle would source materials from lots of different places, and Castle would make home versions of things. So they would digest everything down. They would mostly make it for people that had silent projectors. So they would take out the sound and they would add captions or intertitles. And, you know, they did release some sound versions, but this was mostly what you get when you get a Castle film. So when you go to a thrift store or a vintage store, antique store, and you see something that says Castle Films on it, that's what this is going to be. It's I've had people in the past approach me and say, like, well, this is a rare film. I'm like, Castle? No, it's not really a rare film. There might be rare Castle films, but this film in itself is something that was distributed and sold at most camera stores. And you could get a catalog, and, you know, they were pretty great. I mean, this was the home video market before there was video. Anyways, so let's watch a film about dolls from many lands.
Come aboard, friends. Let's fly away on wings of imagination and visit dolls in many lands. Children all over the world love their dolls just as you do. They like to dress them in the same kinds of clothes their parents wear. So put on your caps of make-believe and hop, skip, and jump with us from the top of the world to the jungles of Africa. First stop, Greenland, an island far up near the North Pole. In this faraway, cold island, we meet two dolls in native dress, a father doll and a mother doll. Can you tell which is which? Yes, the mother doll has long hair and a parka decorated with colored beads. Father's parka is lined with fur. Next stop, Canada. These two dolls are dressed as a woodsman and his wife. They live in a log cabin in the forest country of northern Canada. The lady's dress looks old-fashioned, doesn't it? The man wears a warm stocking cap and a lumberman's jacket. They have a good neighbor, an American Indian princess. See the feather in her hair? Only an Indian princess wears such a feather. Everybody can guess what these two are. Cowboy dolls, of course. Did you know that cowboys' hats come from Mexico? In Mexico, such hats are called sombreros, or shade makers. These Mexican dolls wear sombreros. The wide-brimmed hats shade their faces from the hot Mexican sun. Children in Guatemala like Indian dolls. Most people in Guatemala are Indians. These dolls are from Chile, another American country. The young couple and the mother are dressed in their Sunday best for church. Now we're on a large island in the ocean called Jamaica. The man and wife dolls are on their way to the market. The woman carries bananas, coconuts, and other fruits in the basket on her head. Her husband carries his load strapped on his back. Let's turn them around to see how they carry loads. Inca Indians of long ago built stone statues for their gods in a land called Peru in South America. The great-grandchildren of the Incas live there and play with dolls such as these. They live in the high mountain country of Peru. Even in summer, people must dress in warm clothing when they live this high in the mountains. Women wear heavy shawls to keep warm, and men often wear 2 or more woolen jackets, one over the other. In the highlands of Peru, men, women, and children like to wear clothes with bright colors. People in South America are very fond of dancing. This is a dancing doll from Brazil, the largest country in South America. We'll turn her around so that you can take a good look at her hair decoration and at her fancy dancing dress. The ocean along Brazil's coast is warm. Many beautiful fishes live there. Here is an underwater doll made of shells. He's blowing a conch shell, calling us to a feast or a fiesta. People in South America like fiestas, especially in Argentina. In front of a neighbor's house, Argentine ranchers have come together for a fiesta. "There will be dancing," says one rancher to the other. The dancer is a cowboy, or gaucho, and the lady a ranch girl. The sailor doll is saying goodbye to his best girl before he takes us to another faraway land across the ocean, to Africa. People who dress like these dolls are Arabs from North Africa. This Arab family rides home from the market on donkeys. Married women in North Africa often hide their faces, just like this woman doll. See? And men wear a head cover called a turban. An old woman may leave her face uncovered. In this country, princes are called pashas. Now we're going to see some dolls dressed as pashas. Here's one, and here the other. Let's imagine they're visiting the Sultan's home to see his daughters. Even a princess must hide her face, but her veil is thin. The young pashas can see that she is beautiful. The Sultan has another daughter. Which one will the pasha choose? We'll never know, because we're off to the land of the wild jungle hunters in West Africa. The hunter doll is carved of wood as dark as the people of this country. The hunter is armed to hunt the rhinoceros. Some women in Africa dress in long white robes after they're married. From the darkest jungle come these rag dolls, a boy doll and a girl doll. Our make-believe trip is coming to an end, but you can make another one with your own dolls in your own classroom. Or perhaps you can draw some dolls of foreign lands, or dress your own in costumes like those you've just seen.
Oh, it's kind of interesting. It's like, let's take somebody's collection of dolls and create a narrative around it, and maybe add some educational blips, but maybe not. You know, it's fine. The music is great, though. I really dug the music there, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of messages from YouTube about the various production music that's used in that. Generally, when I do a show, I get 3 or 4 messages from YouTube about, oh, you have some copyrighted material in here, but don't worry, it's not a strike, and we're not going to remove that or anything. But yeah, so I get to find out the names of all this production music, which is kind of the other side of this. So behind me, if I do that, it's going to be wrong. If I do that, if I do that, behind me is the telecine, where we have we show films live, and this is a film I pulled from the back that I haven't seen. It's loosely related to the show that I did with Irene Moon on Tuesday, but I didn't want to show films about insects as pests. I wanted to kind of just show insects. So here is Battle of the Bugs.
Wherever plants are growing, there are very often insects using the plants as food. If these insects ate only weeds, they'd be considered beneficial. But too often, they feed on such cultivated crops as cotton, or on the many kinds of fruit which people enjoy. They dine on farm crops and even feed on the wood with which homes are made. There are thousands upon thousands of different species of insects, feeding on the ornamental plants and the food-producing plants of humans. Among the most destructive are aphids. This is an aphid feeding. Plant damage occurs as the essential fluids are drained from the plant cells and harmful toxins are injected through the aphid's tube-like proboscis. In areas where the weather is warm, aphids give birth to living young. The young aphids are known as nymphs, and a single adult aphid can produce as many as 6 of them in a day. After the young aphid has its legs in position, the parent lowers it to the plant stem. First the aphid stretches, then it settles down and begins to feed and to grow. In the molting process, the aphid sheds its skin. After each molt, the new skin is larger than the old. It molts a total of 4 times before it's mature. Most aphids have no wings, but if there is not enough food for the colony, some of the aphids grow wings and fly to other plants. And once a new food supply is located, the aphids multiply rapidly. Soon the colony will look like this. One way to reduce aphid populations is by chemical control. But before there were chemicals and sophisticated ways of applying them, what kept the world from being overrun with aphids and other damaging insects? Fortunately, there have always been other insects, such as the ladybird beetle, that help through natural biological control. The ladybird beetle, commonly called the ladybug, eats aphids by the hundreds. The ladybug lays from 200 to 400 eggs in a season. She generally lays them on the surface of a leaf near an aphid's colony. Soon a ladybug egg is ready to hatch. The egg produces a larva, a stage in this insect's life cycle. The ladybug larva also has an enormous appetite for aphids. Within 2 weeks, the larva stops eating and forms a tough protective covering. It is now a pupa. The pupa can move to protect itself. When development is complete, the adult ladybug begins to emerge. In order to break out, it draws in air. This expansion and contraction helps to split the tough pupal case. During the next few days, the wing covers will harden and become red with black spots. And soon the adult ladybug will start to feed. Another natural enemy of aphids is a tiny parasitic wasp, smaller than a pinhead. The wasp injects one of its eggs into each aphid. In a few days, the egg hatches, and a wasp larva consumes the aphid, leaving only a lifeless shell. Hundreds of aphids may be destroyed by one wasp. Another aphid enemy is the syrphid fly, also called the hunter fly. It destroys aphids in the larval stage of life. The adult syrphid fly lays its eggs within a colony of aphids. When the eggs hatch, there will be an abundant food supply for the larvae. The green lacewing also destroys aphids in the larval stage of life. The dainty adult feeds only on nectar, a sweet liquid produced by plants. The lacewing has a most ingenious way of laying her eggs. Eggs are laid singly, each one on top of a silken thread. This protects the egg from insect enemies on the plant below. In about 10 days, the egg hatches, Within minutes, the larva climbs down its silken thread and starts its first aphid hunt. It grows rapidly as it hunts and destroys aphids. It is commonly called the aphis lion. Three to 6 weeks after it is hatched, it stops eating and spins a silk cocoon. Like many other insects, the green lacewing larva is a master spinner. Layers of minute silken thread are woven together with a single strand, unbroken in the process. Inside the cocoon, transformation has begun. The larva becomes a pupa. Then it leaves the cocoon through an opening cut by its mandibles. It sheds the tight skin which binds the newly formed wings. Body fluids are pumped into the delicate network of veins. Now the fully mature lacewing is ready to fly and to start again the cycle of life that is so beneficial in the control of aphids. But aphids are not the only damaging insects, for wherever plants grow, there are insects feeding upon them. One way of controlling damaging insects is with chemicals. But one should remember that while chemicals will kill harmful insects, such as aphids, they will also kill beneficial insects, such as the ladybug, the parasitic wasp, the syrphid fly, and the green lacewing. A constant, quiet battle of the bugs has always helped in the control of destructive insects through natural biological control.
So Irene Moon, our entomologist friend, mentioned that ants actually help protect aphids because they use aphids as cows, basically. And as I mentioned, aphids are the juice box to the insect kingdom. Wow, so, just randomly I was looking in the back and I was like, oh, Battle of the Bugs, I haven't seen this. So that's one of the great things about being at the archive and being able to have a telecine available to quickly put on and say, like, oh, what's this? Let's watch it together. So, big fan. My nephew, Nate, has been scanning a bunch of cornet films, and we have, while I'm still doing the stock clips, we've been kind of concentrating on some of the prints that actually have sound and are edited pieces. And so this one is Citizenship and You. Enjoy.
Sure, Buzz, I can make it. 8:30, you said? Okay. Yeah, I've got most of it done. Well, I finished my geometry, and the physics, and English. I figure I can get the Spanish done tomorrow in school. Besides, it isn't due until Thursday. Oh, that's right. Civics, I almost forgot. Well, that shouldn't be too hard. All I have to do is complete a list of the qualities I think make up a good citizen. Sure, it's an easy assignment. I ought to be able to finish it in about a half hour after I get back from the meeting. Yeah, all right, Buzz. I'll be there at 8:30. See ya. Bye.
Big meeting tonight?
No, not too big, Dad. Just a few of us getting together to talk over plans for the school cancer crusade.
Mm-hmm. Cancer crusade, huh? Community action. I said community action. You know, citizenship. Isn't there something like participation in community action on your citizenship list?
Nope, I can't find it. Well, maybe I've got it down here, but in different words. You want to take a look?
Sure, be glad to. A good citizen. A good citizen is aware of his privileges. A good citizen is aware of his obligations. A good citizen attempts to make his community a better one for all people. A good citizen keeps well informed of civic events that may not concern him personally. Well, I think you've got community action pretty well covered. This is the start of a good list, Larry. How long did it take you to do this?
Oh, about a half an hour, I suppose.
Well, writing about good citizenship is one thing. Living good citizenship is another.
Oh, sure, Dad. But I won't really be involved in citizenship until I'm old enough to vote.
Larry, you're wrong there. Right now, you're living good citizenship just as much as I am.
What do you mean?
I think I can show you that you're just as much a good citizen as I am.
Okay.
All right, let's start with your list. A good citizen is aware of his privileges. Now, one of these privileges is voting. And I don't mean just voting in national elections either. Every election is important. When our neighbors and I vote, we indicate the way we think certain issues of government should be handled. That's what I tried to explain to Charlie Gray last month when we had our election. You know, Charlie runs the clothing store on McCormick Boulevard. Well, business was good that day, so he wasn't sure he could take time off to vote. But you know how I felt about that election. I tried to persuade Charlie that his one vote was important, that voting was one of the ways he made his opinions known to people in government. I don't know if Charlie voted that day. I hope so. To have your views heard and your vote counted, those are very real privileges of citizenship. Now, you've had an experience just like that. I mean, an experience where you knew how important it was to vote.
I have?
Sure. What about that student council election a couple of months ago? How important was your vote then? Wasn't a friend of yours, let me think, Joan Benton running for office?
Well, if you put it that way, maybe my voting in that student council election was important. I've known Joan ever since we were freshmen. So, when she decided to run for the student council, I figured the least I could do was to help her campaign. I think I must have talked to more than half the kids at school, trying to convince them that Joan would do a good job in office. I really believed that she would do a good job. Yes, she was my friend, but she also knew the issues involved, and her opinions about them seemed right to me. Other kids felt the same way. When election day came, practically everybody turned out to vote. After helping Joan campaign, I began to realize that voting was probably the easiest part of an election. Sizing up the issues and choosing the right candidates was the really tough job.
Sure, it can be a tough job. Voting may be a privilege of citizenship, but learning to vote intelligently is an obligation of citizenship.
Well, actually, then, I've been taking the privileges of citizenship without even knowing it.
That's right. I'm glad you realize that good citizenship does mean you as well as me.
Yeah, but does it mean me? I mean, Well, okay, so a kid like me can vote in a student election. But that's about it. The whole story.
The whole story? No, I don't think so. We were talking about obligations, remember? Let's take another look at your list. A good citizen is aware of his obligations. All right, let me tell you about an experience I had that drove that point home to me, and see if it doesn't remind you of a similar experience. A couple of weeks ago, your Aunt Rose got a letter in the mail. At first, she was a little worried. But the letter turned out to be a request for Rose to work as an election watcher. In a way, it was an honor. Still, she'd have to be on duty from 6 in the morning till late at night. Well then, who would take care of the house and watch little Judy on election day? Of course there would be inconveniences, Rose knew. Still, somebody had to be an election watcher. The obligations of citizenship go beyond your own home. So, on election day, Rose's family were on their own. And it wasn't easy. Yet in their own way, they were fulfilling their obligations of citizenship, just as Rose was fulfilling hers by taking on a job of election watcher. This is what it boils down to. Sometimes things come up that are bigger than our personal affairs. When things like that do happen,
Like the time you served on a jury and had to take time off from work.
For 2 weeks. Wasn't the best time to take off from work either. But as I said, when things like that do happen, then we simply have to give up for a while what we want to do personally. And that's what being aware of obligations means. See? All right? Now, how do the obligations of citizenship affect fellows and girls of your age?
I don't know.
Oh, come on now. You haven't forgotten your sister's class dance already, have you?
Oh, that. Yeah, I guess you're right, Dad. Probably Peggy didn't think of it that way. I remember the day a couple of her friends asked her to be on the committee to choose the decorations for her class dance. I think then she started to be aware of the obligations of good citizenship. Peggy wasn't sure she'd be able to help. After all, there was the problem of shopping around for a formal, and finding the time to do her homework, and helping Mom around the house. These were things she had to do. But at home that night, she thought it over. By giving up her spare time for a couple of weeks, she'd make a lot of people happy. If the girls still wanted her, she'd be glad to help on the committee. They still wanted her, all right, and for the next month or so, every minute of Peggy's spare time, and her girlfriend's, was spent in planning that dance. I suppose that's one of the reasons why the dance turned out to be such a terrific success. And maybe it was partly because some of Peggy's ideas went into it.
You might say that's one of the basic things of good citizenship, Larry. It helps us work and live together for the good of most people. Well, you've got it right here on your list. A good citizen attempts to make his community a better one for all people. Now, that can sometimes be a real problem.
How so?
Well, there are times when it's hard to figure out exactly how to make your community a better one. Let me put it this way. You know that large viaduct we have out at the south end of Chestnut Street? Well, I've never known it to fail. It'll always flood after a rain. It makes for dangerous driving, and it slows down traffic. Try to get down to work on time when you have to drive through that on a rainy day. Well, storm sewers at that end of town would take care of the situation. Some of our neighbors got together and drew up a petition asking the city council to take action. They've asked me to put my name on the petition too, but I don't know. Storm sewers would clear up a bad traffic problem. Still, it will mean higher taxes. And I'm not sure that I can afford to pay higher taxes.
Well, are you going to sign the petition?
I don't know. It's one of those things that Mr. Average Citizen, me, will have to think over very carefully.
I think you should sign it.
You don't pay taxes.
Yeah, that's true enough. But I think everyone's interested in having the place where they work or live look like something they can be proud of.
Yes, and it's an important but, too. Good citizenship shouldn't stop at what the people in a particular community want or do. As the fourth thing on your list says, a good citizen keeps well informed of civic events that may not concern him personally.
Just a minute, Dad. I think I can save you the trouble. I know what that one means. Right now, some of the kids are getting together at Buzz's house to figure out a way we can help in this year's cancer crusade. You know, something like doing the legwork on door-to-door contributions. Anything, so long as we know that what we do may help some people, no matter what community they live in. So, in a way, I guess we're practicing that side of citizenship without even thinking about it. Say, you know, I've been practicing good citizenship all along.
Yes, you have. There's a lot to it, isn't there?
There sure is. I thought these were just things to write down for an assignment. But actually, good citizenship helps to get things done and makes living with people a little bit more, well, satisfying, you might say. Say, I'm going to be late for that meeting.
But what about your civics assignment? Aren't you going to complete the list?
Oh, sure I will, Dad, as soon as I get back. I think I'll be able to do a better job now that I know that good citizenship means me, too. Thanks a lot for the tips.
You're welcome, I'm sure.
Tell Mom I'll be home early.
Okay. Well, I think he understands that good citizenship is for him. I wonder just how he'll complete this list of the qualities of a good citizen. I wonder how I'd complete it. Got any ideas?
The following is from a national instructional television series. The series and related materials were developed and supported by 32 educational agencies, with additional support from Exxon Corporation.
Gonna stay. Because Daddy's job is in Chicago now. He lives in Chicago now. I know it. His home's there. He's just coming here to visit us. On Sunday night, he'll be going back to Chicago. Do you understand?
I bet Daddy don't go away again.
Corey, Daddy and I have talked about this for a long time. And we still have to talk for a lot longer time. Maybe he'll stay in Chicago. Maybe he'll come home. I don't know. Maybe he'll get a divorce. But this is just a visit.
Am I going to get in, Daddy?
Oh, Corey, not so many questions, please.
It's the answers that nobody knows that make me confused and frightened. I wonder about tomorrow, 5 minutes or an hour from now. I wonder
Before the winter comes, before the summer's gone, before the leaves fall, before dawn, before you say goodbye, before I say hello, before you make me cry, before Corey? You go. Stay close to me now. I'm not even sure where we're going. Becky, you take Corey's hand and don't let go of it. I'm going to go see what gate Daddy's plane's at. Stay right here and I'll be right back.
Corey, let's look at this.
Dick. Come on.
Mr. Frank World, please contact Transport Airlines information.
Becky, happy birthday to you. Put your finger on your father, on your
Becky? Becky? Becky, where's Corey? You stay here. What's Daddy going to say if we lose Corey at the airport? Weren't you holding his hand? Corey, where were you? We were so worried about you.
Oh, my daddy.
Now you have to stay with us. Come on.
Mr. R.C. Whitman.
Baby, do you remember the last time we were here with Daddy?
Come on, Becky. Let's walk backwards. Da-dum, 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 da-dum.
Ozark Airlines, your baggage is arriving at Carousel 1.
Hey, is that you or is that your sweater?
Oh,
Daddy's home.
Mom, people don't fall out of love just like that, do they?
People do fall out of love, but it takes a long time. Leave me alone.
Come on, Julie.
Leave me alone.
Hey,
Earl?
won't happen again.
Stop it!
Mom, anyone, will you stop loving me and Corey?
Oh, Becky.
Both of us love you very much. Both of you.
Just that Daddy and I are... It's just not good when Daddy and I are together. Come on, Becky, let's hurry.
Arguing. We're just asking ourselves, why go on fighting?
We just can't seem to... Daddy has this miracle job. Sweetheart, are you okay?
Good job. I'm going to be manager.
What's going to happen, Becky, is that Daddy's going to live there. And Daddy and I are going to... You'll get to see Daddy all the time. Come on, sweetheart, watch where you're going.
I've already got my ticket. I'll be back week after
You'll
next.
see him all the time. It'll be easy for him to fly back to St. Louis and...
I'll be back in 2 weeks
This is just a visit.
to visit.
Honey, look at all the airplanes. Look at that one taking off way over there.
But if we don't decide
Don't worry about it.
to stay together, that's called a divorce.
But we're not sure that's going to happen. Maybe we'd all move to Chicago. We just don't know now.
Becky, do you understand what we're saying? All the things we've been talking about. Do you understand this?
Daddy, you don't have to leave. I don't want you to leave. Oh, Daddy, don't leave.
Come on, let's take the escalator. Hey, Cord, go watch the planes come. Do you want to go watch the planes with Corey?
No.
Please transfer the landscape, Mr. Tom Hackney. Mr. Tom Hackney, will you please come to the TWA ticket counter on the upper level for message? Mr. Tom Hackney, TWA, please.
Mom, what are you and Dad going to talk about?
Oh, Becky, I don't know. Everything, I guess. There's a lot to talk about. We'll just have to see.
Mom, if Dad wants to get back together, you will too, won't you?
It's not that easy.
Well, why can't you just make up? On cookie.
Did you see any airplanes, Corey?
Yeah. Well, why can't you just make up?
Becky, we have to talk about it some other time. Oh, here are the cookies. Let me get you one.
Mom, Daddy doesn't have to move away. He could get a job here.
That's something you'll have to talk to Daddy about. Here, Corey, go watch the airplanes come in with Becky.
I've got an idea.
Daddy's plane will be here in just a minute.
Mama, if you and Daddy will get back together again, then I'll do the dishes and take out...
Becky, there's nothing you can do that's going to make any difference. It's just between Daddy and me.
Well, if you love
Becky, come and sit down. We do love you. Now, don't forget that, okay?
Mom, how do people get divorced?
Well, they go to a court. It's called a divorce court. And both of the parents get a lawyer. And the lawyers talk to a judge. And they decide things like what's going to happen to the house and about money. And they ask the children who they want to live with. Oh, baby, it's too much to explain now. Just watch for Daddy's plane.
Choose one, only one. Choose one, only one. Who do you love? Who will you live with? Choose one, only one. Choose one.
That's my girl.
You're my little
Who will you live with? I'm
Oh,
I've got...
Daddy, I'm hurt. You won't leave me now, will you? Take the charges. Take the charges. You're the one that left us alone. You're the one that doesn't love us.
Becky, both of us love you very much.
So I won't be at home as much. I need to earn money.
Don't go away, Mother.
I have to earn money. I'm a stewardess now. I have to earn money. I'm a stewardess
I
now.
need you here, Mother. Don't leave me alone. I need you here, Mother. Don't leave me alone.
I have to earn money. I'll be coming home soon. I have to earn money. I'll be coming home soon. Every Tuesday and Thursday when my plane comes in. Every Tuesday and Thursday when my plane comes in.
I don't want you to leave. You don't have to leave if you don't want to.
Becky, I do have to go. When you're older, you'll understand.
You never spend any time with
Why not just the two of us together?
You are accused of causing the trouble. You are accused of causing the trouble. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I love you both. 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 I love you both.
Oh, baby, I know you do. Daddy's plane's gonna be in any minute.
I missed you so. How are you?
There are times when I really don't know, when I'm confused.
Inside Out is a series of programs and related materials developed and supported by 32 educational agencies in the United States and Canada, with additional support from Exxon Corporation. This program was produced by KETC, St. Louis, Missouri, under the supervision of NIT, National Instructional Television.
Ooh. Inside Out has not disappointed this time. It's a series that was shown on public television, and then they distributed it to schools, and it deals with the emotions of being a kid, and that one, wow. I mean, the thing is that I can see the intent of this. It's for kids who parents are going through a divorce, and trying to capture the anxiety and the sadness and the anger and the doubt of being a kid in that situation where it's utterly helpless. But that is nuts. That was really, really crazy. So, yeah, this is... And the thing is, if you show it, you're showing it to a classroom of kids, only a portion of them are actually going through this. So the other part of them are like, yeah, it's hard. But, you know, I think it's important to talk about this. Like, how do you talk about this? And showing kids that, wow, other kids are going through similar situations, the same types of ideas and all that stuff. I think that's the approach, but this was fairly ham-fisted. I got to give you a little treat. Usually I show this when it's associated with book safety or book care, or fire, but here we go.
What, may I ask, is a dear little cupcake like you doing with nasty old school books? My dear child, we haven't had school or books in ages.
No school? Really?
Why don't you get rid of that school book? You can drop them in here.
It'll get all burned up in there.
Well, of course it will, dear child. And so it should. Books tamper with man's basic, natural ignorance. Now, what could be worse than that?
But I can't burn this book. It's school property.
Nonsense! Apple sugar. You just need to get into the mood.
Books are not where it's at, teaching you how to spell cat. I know you'd rather play, so why don't you throw all your books away? Books are made for burning, the fire is already yearning to put an end to any learning.
1, 3, 5, 9, throw them in the fire's eye.
Put the books in the fire, see the flames growing higher. Burning books is our heart's desire.
2, 4, 6, 8, time to incinerate.
Books will not make you wise, and reading's bad for your eyes. I am sure you agree, so why don't you give all your books to me? Books are made for burning, fire is already yearning to put an end to any learning.
This one here is very good about a man named Robin Hood.
Put the books in the fire, see the flames growing higher. Burning books is our heart's desire.
No, I never liked Tom Sawyer. I won't be a book destroyer.
Books can only confuse, teaching you things you can't use. You should listen to me. Burning your books will set your mind free.
Books are made for burning, fire is already yearning to put an end to any learning. Put the books in the fire, see the flames growing higher. Burning books is our heart's desire.
That was Tisha Campbell, young Tisha Campbell, who can really sing and dance. And that was from the film Magnificent Major, which is an awesome kind of looks to the future where books are banned. And this is glorious, glorious dance sequence and musical sequence. So I had to show it to kind of clear us of that, because they're both from the 70s, that same type of period, and so I had to clear it out, clear it all out. Join us tomorrow, 1 o'clock, and we will watch some more films, 60mm films. And you can support us. One of the great ways you can support us is just tell the world that you like AV Geeks and what we do. And you can hit like, you can hit subscribe, you can hit notifications. All these things are ways to kind of tell the algorithms that rule us all that AV Geeks are worth supporting and streaming and showing to other people. You can also tell other people about what we do. And finally, you can buy us some coffee at buymeacoffee.com/AVGeeks. And go to avgeeks.com and see previous shows that we've done. You can buy DVDs, etc. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. We'll see you again tomorrow. As always, we look to the film can, and it tells us to please rewind and to love each other. And I think that's pretty good advice nowadays. Everybody have a good rest of your Thursday. We'll see you soon. Bye.